Pope Francis visits typhoon-hit Tacloban in Philippines. Pope Francis has held an open-air mass in the Philippine city of Tacloban, which was devastated by Typhoon Haiyan just over a year ago. Tens of thousands braved pouring rain and strong winds brought by Tropical Storm Mekkhala to attend the mass. He was due to meet survivors of the typhoon after the mass, but the storm forced the Pope to cut short his visit. The Pope said as soon as he saw the catastrophe caused by the typhoon, he had decided to go to the Philippines. Pope Francis is visiting the Philippines, where there are 80 million Catholics, as part of a 6-day tour of Asia. The typhoon, which remains the strongest storm ever recorded on land, created a 7 (23 feet) high storm surge, destroying practically everything in its path when it swept ashore on November 8, 2013. Around 90% of the city of Tacloban in Leyte province was destroyed, and more than 14.5 million people were affected in 6 regions and 44 provinces. About 1 million people remain homeless. Tropical storm. Pope Francis was due to have lunch with survivors of Typhoon Haiyan later on Saturday, but he left Tacloban 4 hours early because of the approaching storm and returned to Manila. Earlier, he apologized to the crowds gathered at the main cathedral in Leyte province and said, "I am sad about this, truly saddened, because I had something prepared especially for you." The Pope said his pilots had told him that the weather was going to get worse. "We barely have time to get to the aeroplane," he said. Tropical Storm Mekkhala, with winds of up to 130 kilometers per hour, 80 miles per hour, forced the suspension of ferry services to Leyte and stranded thousands of travelers, according to the Associated Press news agency. One woman was killed after the mass, when scaffolding near the stage collapsed, local media report. The storm is forecast to hit the shore of nearby Samar Island later on Saturday. Crowds at the papal mass in Tacloban. The weather did nothing to deter the crowds attending mass. People pray for the victims of Typhoon Haiyan during the mass in Tacloban. People prayed for the victims of Typhoon Haiyan during the mass. Villagers stand as they pray next to an airfield during a mass held by Pope Francis in Tacloban on January 17, 2015. Tropical Storm Mekkhala forced Pope Francis to cut short his visit after the mass. During the mass in Spanish, with a translation into English, the Pope spoke of the devastating impact of Typhoon Haiyan on people in Tacloban. He told the faithful that so many of you in Tacloban have lost everything. I don't know what to say, but the Lord does. He underwent so many of the trials that you do. There was silence as the many thousands here in the deeply Catholic Philippines bowed their heads in prayer, the only noise the rain splashing onto the muddy ground beneath, reports the BBC's Caroline Wyatt. Line. At the scene, Rupert Wingfield Hayes, BBC News, Tacloban. The rain is pouring in Tacloban. But that is not discouraging hundreds of thousands of people from coming out to see Pope Francis. Many began assembling at the airport before sunset on Friday, standing patiently in the open all night in their clear plastic ponchos. No umbrellas are being allowed. One family I met had driven 18 hours from Davao City in Mindanao. They didn't have any tickets for the mass, but were unconcerned, only hoping to take a small part in what is the biggest event the city has ever seen. Tacloban is still recovering from Typhoon Haiyan, which killed 7,000 people here just over a year ago. Pope Francis will meet families of some of the victims. One is Dr. Clara Rosa. She lost 11 members of her family. I asked her what it meant to her to meet Pope Francis today. "It is like having a friend visit you while you are grieving," she said, struggling to hold back tears. "You are happy your friend has come, but it is for a very sad reason." Line. A national holiday has been declared in the capital for the duration of the Pope's visit. Security is very tight, with tens of thousands of soldiers and police deployed, after failed attempts to kill two previous popes in the Philippines. The centerpiece of Pope Francis' visit will be an open-air mass in Manila on Sunday, which is expected to attract millions.